So, some of you know that I'm a big Star Trek fan. And I've been really getting into the binge watching one of the seasons of Star Trek Enterprise. So the series started back in the 1960s about explorers in space able to go faster than light, so space wasn't so much of a trek. And of course, in the 90s and the 80s, they came out with Star Trek The Next Generation because a lot of the fans refused to let it die. They kept watching reruns. They decided to make some movies. The movies did well. They said, you know what? We got a franchise here, guys. We got a moneymaker. Let's do it. So Star Trek The Next Generation, about 100 years after Star Trek. And then they came out with other ones. One of the series that's really grabbed my attention has been Star Trek Enterprise. And it is, supposedly, fictionally, the first faster-than-light starship with 80 or so crew people on it, that are going beyond the Earth. Now, here's the thing about the precept of the series is that they're basically out there alone. It's just them. Of course, in Earth, they're working on other ships that can have a fleet, but this is the only ship that's out there. The point is, when they get into trouble, when they meet a species that is a little bit more advanced, a lot more dangerous, they really have to come together and figure out what they're going to do about it. So to recap, you've got Earth in its infant stage of space exploration, and you've got a lot of other peoples out there that are a little more advanced, a little more organized, have a little bit more fleet. Now, where am I going with this? Would you say that we Jews are similar? Would you say that we Jews are a small minority on this planet? What is it, 0.1% or so? We have been in foreign lands the last 2,000 years. We have faced a lot of threats, and we basically had to decide what we're going to do. We've had to figure out ways to survive and thrive, not just survive. There's the story that Jews were denied in the Middle Ages professions, except for one. And what was the one profession that Jews could do? And money. And money. And the words of Richard Dreyfuss in one movie rather, he said, after a couple hundred years, we got real good at it. And we thrived that way. With the Rothschilds, right? One of the premier families of banking. So when you look at it, when I look at this series, of course, I love the idea that they're challenged and they have to come up with different ways. You know, they have to make repairs as best as they can. It really kind of tells the story of our people. We were threatened. We had to find ways to survive and thrive and continue our civilization. We moved around a lot. Sometimes the people we met or the countries we were in were friendly. Sometimes they were friendly and turned hostile. Sometimes they were just downright hostile. But we did it. We came through. And that's really kind of the message here. We're kind of like explorers in humanity. Think of it that way. We're explorers in humanity. We're showing the world that however tough the challenges, we can survive. You know, we've all got the same brains, right, doctor? It's all everybody. I don't care who you are, what color your skin is, how good your tan is, whatever, whether you can get up on a surfboard or not, it doesn't matter. But the point is that we all have the same capacity. And I think that's one of the reasons God chose us, to be a light among the nations, to say, see, here's how it can be done. So let's continue that inspiration, especially in these times. You look at Israel, they're being attacked by enemies that are more numerous, sometimes more powerful, but they come up with ways to defeat them and put them at bay without taking a lot of lives. Look at Iron Dome, right? It's the ultimate defense. It's so successful they want to do it here in this country. Look at us Jews in this country. Okay? We've been oppressed on college campuses, so what do? We came out with ways to use the law to eliminate that oppression, and it's happening. So let's remember that there's, where there's a will, there's always a way. Let's remember that as we go forward.